So here's set 4 of the literary terms. This will be 10, 11, and 12. The first one is called a synecdoche, and so we put the pronunciation next to it. Synecdoche is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase that refers to a part of something is substituted to stand in for the whole, or vice versa. Okay, so that's a whole lot of definition where you could just shorten it up to it's a part of a whole, or a whole that represents a part. For example, examples are usually the easiest. You could have boots on the ground, and that's not referring to just the boots. We're talking about the entire soldier. Okay, so boot would be that part, but it's referring to like more than just boots. New wheels, like if you say, hey, you got some new wheels, they look great. You're not talking about just the wheels, you're talking about the whole car. So again, a part of a whole. When somebody proposes, you might say you ask for her hand. You're not really asking only for her hand. That would be weird. So you're asking for the whole person, but the synecdoche is when you refer to just the hand, but you really mean the whole. If you see a bunch of people walking down the street and you go, oh, here comes the suits, you're really talking about the business people, not really just their suits. And if you're going shopping and you say, did you bring the plastic? You're often referring to your credit cards. And a bigger one is when you say the White House. The White House can refer to things made, like statements that are made from the White House. So if we would say the White House came out and said such and such, well, the White House is really a whole that's referring to, what the person inside of it is saying. So synecdoche, it looks like synecdoche, but don't say it. It's synecdoche, is basically a part of a whole. Next word is called litotes. I know, litotes, or litotes, is an alternate pronunciation. But litotes is a figure of speech in which a negative statement is used to affirm a positive statement, and we do this all the time. For example, you might have, "It wasn't a terrible trip," which means it was okay. "She's not unkind," which is kind of a way of saying, well, it's kind of a double negative. She's not unkind, which means she's not really mean, but she's also not super kind either. Kind of has you're not being real positive about something, but you're also not being terribly negative, but you're still kind of being a little bit on the more of the negative side. They aren't unhappy with the presentation, which means that they're not truly happy with it, but they're not seriously upset about it. And then the last one is, I couldn't not look. It's kind of like some people will say that about an accident. It's like you can't help but look. And some people will say, I just couldn't not look at it. So that's called a litotes. And it really just, the impact that has on the audience is, it's not bad, but it's also not good. It's kind of that mediocre. So you kind of plant the seed in the audience's head of, you wish it would be better, but it just isn't. And the last one is a motif. A motif, the definition is a little bit funky. It's a little bit longer. So a motif is a narrative element that repeats throughout a work of literature and often contributes to mood and or theme. So it's really just an element that you see going throughout. A motif in the Odyssey might be the idea of temptation. So a theme is when you have a message. A motif is just an idea that is represented throughout. Now, a motif can contribute to a theme, but a theme doesn't really contribute to a motif. So a motif is just a repetition. So temptation, Circe, Calypso, and how he deals with temptation. Another one might be, disguises. We see disguises in the Trojan horse. We see disguises in the Cyclops. We see disguises when he goes home. I mean, they're disguises that motif repeats itself. Now, if you want to create a theme out of that, if that lends to a theme, like maybe disguises help, hide your true self. If that's what you think the theme is, which I'm not sure that's totally true, that might be a way that you would say the motif contributes to the theme. But anyway, so a motif is just something that is repeated throughout the work of literature, and it helps the mood or the theme.